The Maffetone method beyond the numbers. I have to say that if you're stuck, if you're struggling, if you're trying to figure out how to improve your running or your aerobic fitness, I'm going to say that this method works. But regardless of what the results are and how much you improve, I think the Maffetone method is way more than just what the numbers on a scale or the numbers in your pace or whatever your heart rate is. I think it's more than that. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this because I think it's really important. What is the Maffetone method? Like what am I talking about? Well, there's this guy named Dr. Phil Maffetone. He came up with a number, a magic number that works for a lot of runners to improve in their fitness. And that number is 180. Now what you do is you take 180 minus your age, and that is the pace, that is your heart rate that you should be running at. When you're running at this low heart rate, you're gonna feel frustrated, you're gonna feel really confused, you're not gonna really understand why you may not be seeing improvements right away. But what I would say is if you stick with it, if you put in the time, if you give it at least 30 days, right? Now, I don't mean running once a week or twice a week. Unfortunately, that's not going to cut it for you. You're going to have to do more than that. But regardless of that, you take 180 minus your age. That's the number that your heart rate should be at when you're running. Now, it's got a 10 beat, zone, right? So if it's 138, then your zone is 128 to 138, okay? And ideally, you typically want to keep it at the higher range because you do get a lot of improvement just from keeping it at that number. Now, the other thing that I would say is you can do this on biking, you can do this when you're walking, you can do this with everything. And once you start, okay, you're on this path, but the path is to be able to stay injury free. And that is my secret spot. That's, I think, what every runner wants to see. They want to see that you're improving over time, you're being consistent. And by being consistent, that means you're not injured, right? Because when you're injured, you're in the injury box and yeah, you're going to have to start all over again. And that starting all over again sucks. It's not easy. It's very frustrating. So that's the first thing. The Maffetone method allows you to be consistent in your running. Now, the next thing I would say is beyond the numbers, right? Beyond the heart rate, beyond the pace, beyond all of that is your diet, okay? I find, and this is just in my running, is I've become fat adapted when I ran at that low heart rate for long periods of time because your body is just using fat as your fuel source. And that is a good place to be because you're not burning any carbs, you're not having to bring any of that in. So you could be out for a run, you can be out for a bike ride, and that's all you're going to be consuming. So you're not going to hit this crashing point where you bonk and you're out and all of a sudden you can't run anymore. So for anyone who has, tried to figure out what that bonk feels like, if you've run a marathon and you've run out of electrolytes and your body's switching over to carbs and it's having a real hard, not switching over to carbs. It switches between fat and carbs. If your body doesn't work well in a race doing that, it can cause a lot of problems. And that's what happened to me a number of years ago when I hit the wall. When you hit the wall, man, I've never experienced anything like that in my life. Now, the other amazing thing that using the Maffetone method has allowed me to do, right, beyond the numbers, is it's allowed me, my focus has become really good, right? I don't know. Before I started using this method, I used to become very scattered and having focus was really hard for me. So going out for a run, running slow, it really allowed me to kind of build a muscle when it comes to that. And I find when you're running slow, it's much better than running fast, because when you're running fast, you're literally trying to do everything you can to stay at that pace. But when you're running slow, it's a heck of a lot easier to run slow than it is fast. That's just my opinion anyways. I know others may disagree, but that's just the way it rolls. Look, it's a great way to build a strong aerobic engine, and it's really great at burning fat. It's also really good at building more mitochondria, so that way you have the energy and you can go those longer distances and you can improve in your running. Look, there's a lot to be said for running slow, but it isn't for everybody. Some people get really ticked off and they're like, you know what, I just need to get into a different type of running. I need to do more HIIT training, more interval training. I need some faster runs. And while that's okay, what's really awesome is this method of running slow has taught me that everybody is different. Okay, so let's get going again. So like I was saying, I wasn't going to film this video, but, this YouTube channel has allowed me to be very transparent, and I'm documenting my fitness journey and my life in some circumstances. And this is one of those things. Running is part of me. Running is what I do. Running is what I do for stress release, for me to feel better, right? And so running slow brings me clarity. It brings me fitness. It brings me into a space where I can think, right? Because I can't do much else when I'm bike riding, or if I'm running, it's hard to do anything else. Like even making this video is kind of a challenge, right? Because I got to look out for a lot of things. And specifically, wait a minute. Yeah, no cars. This was one of the passings, one of the crossings. Now, the one thing I am going to recognize right now is I forgot my helmet at home. I thought for some reason in my head I was going to go for a run. And then next thing you know, I thought I'd get out on the bike and just put in a couple of miles and just kind of talk about, how Maffetone Method, how it's different, how it's allowed me to be, more focused, more present. I'm a better human being for it, right? So being able to burn fat, I am getting faster as I progress in this journey of slow running. It does all of those things. It ticks off all of those boxes. And, I was going to script out what I was going to say, and I thought, no, today was one of those days where I just need to it needs to come right from the heart, right? Just right from what I feel. And that's what this video is. I'm on a rail trail right now, right? They ripped up all the tracks many years ago, and it's allowed us to have this amazing rail trail system in the area that I'm in. So right now, it's flatter than flat can be. There's a couple of sections where, I have to kind of go up, but for the most part, this is amazing, right? The Maffetone method can be frustrating. It can be a journey, but it's a journey of our life, right? Well, the other thing I find is it's allowed me to inspire other people to get out and run. Because when running is not hard, people kind of open up to it. It's like, oh, let's go for a bike ride. There's a lot of people go, oh, I haven't ridden a bike in years. And I'm like, well, I got an extra bike. I got an extra helmet. It's funny that I'm not wearing one right now, but I do. And why don't we go? A lot of people just kind of put up a wall. But, you know, when you lose someone, you have to come up with new routines. You need to grieve in your own way. And sometimes grieving is exhausting, right? You don't know how to move on. You need to get the therapy that you need, or you got to figure it out. But sometimes you just need a friend just show up with a bike and say, here's your helmet, get on the bike and let's go, right? Sometimes that needs to happen. Sometimes you need to just go for a walk with the dog. Whatever it is, doesn't matter, right? Just showing up. So again, Maffetone method does a lot. It's, you know, I am a better person for it. And I am very grateful that I found this method of training. Running slow is a wonderful way to improve your cardiovascular system. It's a great way to build your mitochondria. It's a great way to have more energy, because that's just the other fact. I have more energy than I have in years just by running slow. I'm fitter than I have. Well, I was fitter. I allowed myself to go a little bit the wrong way when I stopped running a little bit. But that's life. But it does get you fit. And after a run, you're not so hungry, which is also another added benefit to this whole entire thing. It's like I always say, get out and go for a bike ride. Let's see if I can outpace this thing. I got it, I'm winning. Yeah. Oh, it caught up with me. Oh, here it is. This is gorgeous.